Hello there and welcome. As always, you can call me Mikhail or Michael. Before the video starts, I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to all who decided to support me financially, be it through Patreon, PayPal, or Super Thanks. I really appreciate it. So thank you friends and have a blessed day. Now, today's video we will start in Bakhmut and discuss situation around Ukrainian-controlled village of Ivanivsky, or to be fair, partly controlled village, where all throughout last 24 hours Russian forces continued their offensive operations, not only within Ivanivsky in attempt to expand the foothold within the village, but also attacked to the north of the village, along the open field and hills that overlook Ivanivsky. As a result of these successful offensive operations, this is exactly how much territories Russians were able to acquire in the last 24 hours. Just yesterday they controlled a very small bridgehead right along the Sadova street, but today they control about 35 to 40% of the village, with its center now located in the gray zone, with Russians currently attacking in its direction in attempt to take full control over Tereshkovaya street and capture the center of the village. Now, as you can see, Russians also advanced in the northeast of the village. They've done so in the general direction of these hills that overlook the village of Ivanivsky. And with their capture, Russians will be able to secure their northern flank from continuous Ukrainian attempts to throw back Russians out of Ivanivsky village. Now, generally speaking, the fighting continues all across this entire front. However, there is no territorial changes to show except in Ivanivsky village. As all this action continues, Russians continue to bombard town of Chasiv Yar, and for example here on this video you can see Russian drones spotting Ukrainian supply and repair depot. You can also see a Ukrainian tank driving into the building, and later on they were able to destroy the buildings and the tank as well. With all this information in mind, we can expect more storming operations in Ivanivsky, with more Russian territorial gains to show, and of course not only within the village itself, but also to the south of it as well as to the north, where here Russians continuously attack in attempt to reach outskirts of Chasiv Yar town. Then from here let's quickly discuss situation in Tabaevka village, which if you remember Russians were able to take maybe a few months ago. After that, they continuously attacked and fought with Ukrainians for the control over the dominating hills to the west of the village, currently located here. And it seems that Ukrainians were able to come on top because as a result of their counterattacks, they took these territories in the last 24 hours, thus recapturing the tactical heights. The village of Tabaevka itself is small and being located right in front of the hills, so as you can see, Russian forces will be faced with some difficulties when they will be defending this small village. From here let's go all the way to Avdeevka, where as expected Russian offensive continues, with even more territorial gains to show. Here, as a result of successful storming operations, Russian forces were able to completely capture village of Avdeevka, with the last portion of it coming under their control not long time ago. With this, Russian forces gained ability to storm Semenivka village itself. Russian forces were also able to completely capture village of Berdichi, as well as open fields to the south of it. And here is exactly how much territories that was. And with the fall of Berdichi, village of Semenivka will face Russian attacks coming from the north as well. You can also see that Russians are slowly taking control over this entire open space, which Ukrainians find hard to defend. And when that happens, Russians will be able to reach this lake and attack the village from three directions along this road, as well as from Berdichi and Orlivka. And with the fall of Semenivka, second Ukrainian defensive line in Avdeevka will be officially captured. When it comes to situation in Tonenki, heaviest of battles are reported here in this area, as both Russians and Ukrainians are fighting in attempt to retake initiative here. And the fact that there were no territorial changes coming from this town for at least 2 days is a great example of that. Now, generally speaking, Russian offensive here continues, seemingly without a stop, and you wouldn't be too wrong to expect more territorial changes coming from here in the next 24 hours. Let's quickly discuss situation around Nevelsky. Yesterday Russians were able to advance in its direction, and today they got even close, taking control over these territories in the process. As you can see, Russian forces were able to advance along the forest lines and within open fields and capture this important portion of the front, as its control will allow Russians to advance along the forest line here in the direction of Nivelsk itself, as well as further to the west in attempt to capture this Ukrainian stronghold. With all the information coming in, I kinda forget to discuss another Ukrainian gain on Seversk front, where they were able to advance from Vimka in between villages of Vesely and Berestove and capture a small portion of the front line. Here you can see that on your screen. As you can see, seemingly Ukrainians used this road to advance and captured these force lines. Generally speaking, it doesn't seem that Ukrainians are planning to do something big, and this territorial change was a result of positional style of warfare. From here, let's move all the way to Zaporizhia and quickly discuss situation around Rabotino. If you remember, yesterday I reported that Ukrainians completely retook the village and significant fortifications to the south, and it seems they went immediately on the attack in the direction of currently Russian-controlled Novoprokopivka. To stop those attacks, Russians used TOS-1 Solntsepek system, the work of which you can see on your screens right now. It seems that was enough, and Ukrainian attack in the direction of Novoprokopivka utterly failed. Again, within the last few weeks, battles here became extremely brutal, with a strange equilibrium established. Nor Russians and Ukrainians completely control the situation here, and are only able to acquire initiative for a short period of time. Now let's quickly move to the Kherson Oblast and discuss situation in Krynki. As you can see, some parts of the town still remain in the gray zone, as Ukrainian control here is unclear. However, there is still some Ukrainian presence. To this day, they are sending reinforcements and ammunition along the Konka River in order to support their troops fighting in this bridgehead. But again, internet is full of videos with those boats being destroyed and the landing parties eliminated. Despite that the Russian Minister of Defense had said that Krynki is now in full Russian hands, it doesn't seem to be completely true. As I was editing this video, new information just came in from the town of Novomikhailivka, where it seems that Russian forces were able to re-enter the town from the south and captured industrial zone in it. Here on this video you can see Russian forces putting up the flag on the southern outskirts of the village. Generally speaking, attacks are coming from three directions: from the east, south, and northeast as well. Before and after such attacks, Russians continuously conduct artillery strikes upon Ukrainian formations, as you can see here on this video, nearly perfectly executing combined arms tactic. Within the last hour, situation here developed extremely quick, and I'm sure that when I will be making next video tomorrow, there will be some serious territorial changes to show. Now with this I end today's video. Hopefully it was to your liking and was informative enough. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day, and always remember, Russia will be free and great.